All right, ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to the first instructional video on how to get the labs done. Now, these are introductory videos in where you will understand a few concepts about these things. These are not on how to actually do the labs. The content of the labs will be slightly different. Now, first lab would be how to use, handle, manage a program called Wireshark. Now, Wireshark is a network analyzer tool, and let's see how it looks like. And here we go. We run this thing, and as soon as you get it up and running, you get a list of all of your networking connections and how much traffic is happening on them. So as of this moment, my network is pretty silent. Now, before we continue, we want to do a couple of things. Open up your command prompt and type in the following things. First, you need to understand you need to see what your network is, and you need to do a few things. Type in ipconfig and you will see. So for example, for further reference, you need to know this is your computer's local IP address. This is the IP address inside of your home network. And this is the default gateway, simply meaning this is the address towards the internet or the external network and so on and so forth. Now we need to type in another command called flush DNS. Now why do we do this? Because we want to view DNS packets, and if we already have DNS entries for the websites that we have accessed again and again and again, we won't see anything. So it's better to do this. Another thing, what I would like for you to do and understand is type in this one, netstat AN. Now, there's a lot of information over here, and it simply tells you what your machine is listening to. For example, here is a little line which tells me that there's an FTP server listening on my machine, that there is a networking sharing service listening on my machine, and so on and so forth. So these guys are listening, waiting for somebody to connect. And over here, my IP address is connected to public. So 117.122 and all these guys. There we go, 52.175. These are already either established connections or waiting or so on and so forth. Now, if you want to see what these guys are, simply type in like this. And you're going to have to wait until everything connects. It's going to show you the which ones they are. So your machine is connected using this port on your browser onto this web address, onto port 80 or port 443 or something like that. And for some foreign addresses, you will also get a domain name resolution. However, these are probably Windows background update shits, and we don't really get any DNS entries, no domain names for them. Hit Control-C to escape from this one. CLS to clear the screen, and we are good to go. Now, as you can see, we've had some traffic on our wireless LAN. Now we're going to double click over here, and we're going to immediately start seeing things, or not. Well, usually there's supposed to be some traffic, so if there isn't any, let's make some. I'm going to start my browser. My browser is configured not to check for updates, but there is a great deal of stuff happening in the background, and this is going to keep going on and on and on and on. For now, whoa, that's a lot of traffic, but for now, let's simply go back up and sift through what is happening. Oh dear. So let's click over here. Now, we have different types of protocols. Now, this is NetBIOS naming service. Well, your computer has a name, your phone has a name, and this is the NBT stat command, which simply tells you, which simply gets the names of all the stuff in your neighborhood. There we go. This is an outdated, there we go, displays protocol statistic, but this is an outdated tool. Nobody uses this anymore. This is stuff we are not really familiar, not interesting. Aha! There we go. We're interested in something like this. Okay, so we want to see where this DNS request takes us. So my computer is configured to ask for DNS entries from my router, and my router redirects to someplace else. So, in order to see all of the packets associated with this particular exchange, the request and the reply, we go right-click, we go to follow, and because this DNS works through UDP, we're going to just click here, and we'll get to see all of the packets. And over here we have a request and we have a reply. So, the first one is a standard query, detect portal Firefox, and over here we have the reply for that one. We're going to double-click on this one, and let's go through the details. So we have some lower layer stuff. Here is a layer 3 IPv4, which we get all of the details. So we have source IP source IP address, destination IP address. Here's layer 4 UDP. We only have the ports. We don't have SYN, SYN, ACK or anything like that. And we have a DNS packet inside. So this is a standard query. There isn't anything specific over here, as we'll see later. And the query is simply tell me where this domain name is. I need this guy. And over here, on the reply, this is a response. And then in the query, it's going to tell us more stuff into details. And there we go. So this is a CNAME for this actual address, and it's going to go into a great detail. Now, this goes into names, and finally, thank God, we get an IP address. Now, you have to understand DNS works in very specific ways where your local DNS servers might not have all of the DNS entries. So it will redirect to one, will redirect to another, which will redirect to a second, and then a third, and then a fourth, until you get everything that you have desired. Okay, now we're going to remove this filter, keep on going to see if there's anything more interesting. We have some more DNS, and here we go. Now, this is a beginning of a connection initialization. There we go. Now let's have a look. Flags, and it's very specific, and it says SYN. What is that? Well, this is the first part of a three-way handshake. Now, let's follow the stream. I'm going to close this one because we're not going to need it for now. I'll explain what that is. But look at these three fields. First we have a SYN, then we have a SYN-ACK, and then we have an ACK. If layer 4 protocol is TCP instead of UDP, there is such a thing as a synchronization and acknowledgement. So, 2 synchronizations need to be sent and 2 acknowledgements need to be sent in order for a connection to be established and then data to be exchanged. Over here, we have the first one, which is the SYN. Then over here we have a SYN-ACK. There we go, a SYN and an ACK. Now these are some more details which are probably not interested. Now down here, it says this is an ACK to the segment in frame 49. Right, and over here we have the rest of the stuff. Now, once we have finished this one, once this is finished, connection to a particular place, in this case, this IP address that is established, and you get stuff like this. Now, it is requesting for a certain thing, and over here we have received a file. When you see http:/1.1/200 OK, this means a transfer has finished. Something has downloaded. So let's double click over here, and let's see what we've gotten. So, the HTTP says, okay, this protocol says you've received something. Let's close this one. And over here, we've received some text. And this text simply means it's a success. And so there's more details to go into this. There is one more, which I'm trying to find, and this is the FIN. So when a connection needs to be established legally, like for example, if your computer powers off, that won't be a legal ending of a connection. But when there is an ending connection, we have a FIN, FIN-ACK, and we have an ACK. Right, so this is how we end a connection towards a particular service. Okay, I'm going to close all of this. And right here, we see something very interesting. This is ARP. ARP stands for Address Resolution Protocol, and simply maps, this thing simply maps physical addresses to logical addresses, meaning it will map a MAC address to an IP address. And you can see over here, my computer says, who has 192.198.0.1, tell this user. And over here we have the reply. And now you can see your ARP-A, and you can see all of the entries that you currently have in your ARP. Some of these are multicast and broadcast addresses. But for example, over here, this is my default gateway, this is my router, and this is the MAC address of the router. And because it's dynamic, this can be altered and this can be changed because you can connect to a different address with the same value. This is also really easy. Now, if there are some packets dropped, we have some retransmissions. These sometimes work. They don't always work. We can also follow TCP stream and see what happens. We don't get a lot of details. Now, the beautiful thing for this program is you can simply hop onto things. And you can view your data like so. And you can change the way your data looks like. If it's more comprehensible. If this is more comprehensible to you, this is clearly not for us. And, well, You get it. At least you can decipher a few things. Now, let me try and show you a few interesting things. I'm going to clear this. We're going to go down at the bottom. We still have ARP. ARP works actually. ARP works very frequently, as you can see, if we can tell by the timestamps. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to open your favorite website, but first I need to delete, well, how about delete everything? There we go. Delete everything, and I'll go to my favorite website. Okay, and now that the page has completed loading, I'm just going to close this. And over here, we're going to start viewing some stuff. Okay, so we have ARP, more ARP, more stuff. I'm sorry if you're listening to drilling in the background, but those are my lovely, lovely neighbors. Right, so over here, look at this guy. So we have a DNS, and let's follow this UDP stream. And this UDP stream simply says, give me this IP address for this website. And we're going to go over here. We're going to look at the DNS of flags. This is a standard query, right? It needs a reply, nothing else specific. We go down here, and here's a query. Give me this. Give me this one. And we have the response over here. We go down here, and here is the reply. And the answer is this website is located into this IP address. So here is DNS. Something more interesting over here, and something a little bit more nasty. Yes, we have the SYN, we have the SYNAC, we have the ACK. We have a GET request to get a certain file, which we'll see later. And here are the fun ones. We have received some files. http:/1.1/200. What have we received here? Well, let's open up and see what we got. So we're going to go down. And looky, we have an HTML document. What could we do with this one? Well, what I could do with this one is I can copy it and extract it. We're going to go over here, right click. Sorry, not there. Not here. There we go. And we're going to export these guys to desktop. And over here, I'm just going to go index.html. Okay. And I have extracted the index of the particular website that some user was connecting to. We don't know who. And there we go. Now I will open my browser again. And I'll load this in guy. Apparently didn't really work out. Why didn't it work out? Let's see. There we go. Well, this is why it didn't work out. Okay, let's see if it's going to work now. Well, it's loading, and there we go. Now, it doesn't really work because the code is not adjusted properly. But we can do that with something else. Let's close all of this. Oh, look, we're getting a picture. Okay, so let's see. Let's find 200 OK codes. There we go. It's asking for the background. It's going. There's a lot of data going through here. Ta-da! We have gotten something, most definitely. So we're going to go follow. Let's go to the HTTP stream. And we have gotten something here, and it's pretty lengthy. Oh, wait a minute. This is an image. So I'm just going to filter out the blue stuff. We don't want the red stuff. We want the blue stuff. And so over here we have this guy. And let's go export. Let's see. Okay, so let's see what this secret is. Oh, hi moms, how you doing? So I've extracted the background image of the website. And the thing is, it doesn't really work just with JPEG and with TXT. If the protocol is HTTP, which simply is unencrypted, you can practically extract anything because that's the way the networking works. So this is why it is highly recommended for people to use HTTPS. And now most websites that do not provide login information, simply a browsing experience, they default to HTTPS so other people won't snoop on your network traffic.